Welcome to Big Bite Baits and Rig It with the Coach on Tuesday. We normally do it on Monday, but weather has been crazy around here. Internet connections are in awful shape due to the weather, and it's trying to storm outside right now. So we may get knocked off during this for a little bit of deal we're going to do right here. So don't be patient. We'll come back if we do. It's very hot down here in Alabama and Georgia in the afternoons. We just always have a lot of thunderstorms. That's the only way I know to put it. So anyway, it's kind of crazy. So let me get started, Jordan, before we do get knocked off. Let's talk about a few things. I told you last week after we did the ICAST show, we're going to get away from that. We're going to go back to talking about baits and rigging and that type of thing. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Today we're going to do a little show on drop shotting. But before we do, I do want to show something to everyone that we've got new. We finally, after a little bit of time, got our shorts back in stock. We had to change from black to a heather gray. Actually, which will be a little cooler in the summer. It's got the Big Bite fish on the leg, but they are available now here at Big Bite. I believe in sizes 30 through 44. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you're interested in a nice pair of shorts, they're by the way, they're AFCO shorts. We did this in conjunction with them. Give us a call to order you a pair. I think you'll like them. And I don't know about where you live, but I can assure you summer's not even close to being over right here, right now. So definitely, if you need some shorts, place to get them anyway. So today we're going to talk a little bit about drop shotting. I think, Jordan, I believe you got a pile of questions we're going to go over because we've had last couple of weeks we haven't been able to get on. So we had lots of people, asking us questions, and we're glad to be back on. And so we'll talk about it. But let's just talk a little bit today about drop shotting. And I just did a standard drop shot rig today. I've got it tied up here on the line. I use like a little octopus hook. And you can buy the hook, it's got the little swivel in it, and you just tie your lines at both ends of it. But I kind of like doing this inline hook because I can feel better. And then I go down on my tag line after I use a Palomar knot, pull it through, drop it, and then what I normally do is use my tag line to put my lead on. And you can leave that tag line as long as you want to, and you can adjust your lead, obviously. Now, I like the cylindrical lead that just pulls on the line, but they also make a round one like this too that works pretty well. That's kind of to what you would like to use, But that's kind of how I do a basic drop shot rig. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we can put on it. Now, it's very hot, and as a result, the fish are getting kind of lethargic. So sometimes it's tough to get a bite out there. So what I decided to do today was show you 4 things that I think you could use on pretty much any lake in the United States and get a bite on this time of year. Okay, so the first thing I want to start off with is a 3.75 jerk minnow. And it comes in 12 colors, and it's one of the things that our pros talk about drop shotting a lot. And it looks really neat. I'm on nose hook, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. So the first 3 baits I'm going to put on, I'm on nose hook and put it on there and show you the presentation. So it makes a nice little presentation, as you can see. And kind of a tasty little treat, and it's a shad looking shape. So I thought that was pretty neat. So that's one of the things I would recommend, okay? All right, the second thing one of the ones that I really like to use during the heat of the summer is our limit maker. And I'm gonna nose hook it as well and put it on. And right here, you get this presentation. And it's a neat looking little bait. Michael Neal invented this, and it'll get a bite as well. And that's a real good way to get a limit. If you're struggling in a tournament, you can go with something like this, and you may not pick up the biggest fish in the lake, but it's not near as embarrassing to go to landing with 5 as it is to go to landing with 0. So something to think about. Okay, and then the third bait I want to share is a bait that I helped develop for smallmouth bass, but it's a crossover bait. It actually works really nice for largemouth, and actually I like to use it a lot to catch largemouth on too. And that's the Smalley Smasher. And it's the perfect size little finesse bait. And it actually has a little more action than, say, the limit maker. The limit maker is a little stiffer type wiggle. This is more of a little floppy type wiggle. The body on the bait segmented. And it comes in 8 colors. And it can be another type of bait that you might want to try drop shotting. So that's pretty neat. That's 3 kind of small, compact baits that you could use to drop shot on. Now, the last bait I want to share with you is our shaking squirrel, which comes in 11 colors. And I want to show, Jordan shared this with me earlier today. He just got back from a fishing trip with Garrett Paquette, and he showed me a new way to drop shot, or to hook a drop shot. And I thought it was pretty neat. So Jordan, if you want to, while I do it, if you want to kind of explain to him a little bit the concept behind this, it would be good.
Sure, so if you run the bait through the hook underneath first and then pop it out, instead of just straight nose
and just barely make the tip where it's available.
That way it's a little bit more weedless.
So we talk about skin hooking, so you're going to skin hook your drop shot the same way. Now you got a weedless drop shot. It's a pretty neat idea. And you get the same basic Same basic motion. If I'm going to hold that hook up, try to hold that bait up, if that bait's floating, the water's floating that bait up, you get the same look that you would get nose hooking it. The only difference is now the tip of your hook is covered up. So I thought that was pretty neat when you showed me that today. I wanted to share that. And Jordan actually fished it and said he had some success on it. So worked out pretty well. So that's some ways that you can do drop shotting. That's some ways that some baits that you can use. I think you'll be successful that we offer. All of those are available right now here. We have them in stock. So if you're interested, you know, all you gotta do is pick up a phone, call the internet, and order them up. Definitely. So let's go into our questions segment. I know you said you had quite a few questions that we hadn't talked about, so let's do it, man.
Okay.
So what we got?
First, can I get one more rundown on which 4 baits you did?
Yeah, I did the Limit Maker #1. Okay. I did the 3.75 jerk minnow.
Okay.
Okay. I did the Smalley Smasher, the 3.5-inch version. Okay. And then I did the 4.5. Oh, well, I think that's the 6-inch shaking squirrel. Excuse me. And this does come in 2 sizes. I just went to a bigger bait to do that opposite type rig on.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
So I have a question here from Gavin Todd.
Right, Gavin. Okay.
What is your biggest bass?
Well, we've talked about that several times, so I'm going to kind of make this even more interesting today. My biggest fish is 11 pounds and 2 ounces. Jordan, what's your biggest fish?
11 pounds, 2 ounces.
Jordan's is 11 pounds, 2 ounces. Yeah, and I get to walk in every day when I walk in Jordan's office. He's got one of those Texas wildlife mounts that they give you when you catch. I remember the catch and release program. And sometime when we're on here, we need to tell that story about your fish and how unusual and unique it was that fish was caught 3 different times. And we'll talk more about that later. But so we both have the same personal best. I thought that was kind of interesting. So anyway,
awesome.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. Here's a good question from John Panic is wondering, do we have pro packs for the Yo Mama?
We do not have what we call our pro pack per se, but we do have a mega pack. Now, I'll let Jordan elaborate a little bit on that mega pack, and he can tell you how to find it and talk to you just a little bit about it. He, by the way, designed that bag. So go ahead, Jordan, talk a little bit about that mega pack.
So, John, to find out exactly what baits we have in bulk, just go to bigbitebaits.com/bulk, and it'll have all the pro packs and mega packs there.
Mm-hmm. And that mega pack's got a real neat concept on it. It rolls down like a donut bag, so once you open it, you can reseal it every time, and it's a square bottom on it. It'll set right in your boat and it won't spill over. It's pretty neat. You can just roll it down and bend the flaps down like you would a donut bag. It's a good way to keep your baits in your boat and keep them dry, but also it makes it easy to get to them. You know, availability obviously.
Here's a good one. Just came in live from Derek Sellers.
Good, Derek. Talk to me.
He's wondering how to rig the 3-inch trick stick. This would be perfect for that.
Yes, you can do the same. You can do the same thing. You can nose hook it, or you can pull it and do that reverse method. I'm going to show that to you one more time. You can do that reverse method, make it where you just take your bait and go into the backside of the worm and pull it through like so, and don't bring the head of the hook out, okay? And we do have a new head that we've come out with on that 3-inch trick stick. We have a head that we'll release here in the fall called a ram head, where you can Ned rig that trick stick and be another way probably get a lot of bites in the summer finesse. I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but I'm sure I will when the time comes when we get them in here and got them available. So keep your eyes open for that on the website.
Okay, here's another good one from X Takes Photos. What test line do you recommend for drop shot, Coach?
I like to use a light line. I usually use around 8-pound line, most definitely fluorocarbon in our lake. And I went up north to like smallmouth fishing. We use down as little as 6, but I think a light line is the key, because you're doing this you're not doing this to catch a ton of, I'm gonna say big fish, because you don't catch a ton of. I haven't personally caught a ton of big fish, but you can catch solid keepers and you can get more bites. And I don't drop shot a lot except for when I'm struggling. And I prefer to catch them cranking or pulling a big worm or whatever, because your odds of catching bigger fish. But I do think it's a way that you can get bites and keep yourself competitive anyway.
Okay, I have one more for you from Asher James. He's wondering, do you have any crappie baits?
We do. We have a complete line of crappie baits, Asher. You can go online on our site and just click the icon that says panfish baits, and when you do, the world will be open to you. Not only do we carry all the different kinds of plastic bodies, but we carry all the jig heads that go with them, so you can buy just about anything that you want to for crappie. I recommend highly the Fat Grub. That seems like that's our best selling crappie bait, but we also have some new ones like the Minnow and like the little swim on, the baby swim on. So there's some things that are pretty neat there, but definitely.
All right, I lied. I do have one more for you.
Go ahead, man. We're on a roll. Let's do it while we can. It's flooding outside, by the way.
It is too. So I have Ghost Bait and Tackle wondering if you can explain bite juice real quick.
Well, bite juice is a secret recipe that we don't basically release. We don't market it in bottles or cans. We don't do it like an aerosol can or anything like that. But what we do with it is we pack all our baits in it two ways. When we make the bait, it's infused into the plastic before it's ever ran through a machine. So it's impregnated in that bait. And then normally before we seal the bag, we'll put a drop or two in there and then seal the bag. So you get bite juice two ways. You get it from infusion, and obviously you get it from being placed in the bag before you buy the bait. So, and it does have a unique smell of its own.
Gotcha. Alrighty, well, I think that's it for right now.
Well, I think we had a good show today, and we'll look forward to seeing y'all. We'll be back on Monday next week like we normally are for the rest of hopefully the rest of the year, and we'll roll on and get your questions in, and if you got any suggestions on things you'd like to see, drop a line to Jordan and tell him, and we'll try to do our best to show you what you need to know about Big Bite Bait. Until next week, it's good to talk to y'all.